Welcome to Diaspora's Career Challenges, where we dive into the questions every diaspora and immigrant loves to hear. Where are you really from? And the classic, what's that accent? Because clearly your name and accent are far more important than your qualifications, right? I am Sweta Regmi, award-winning career strategist and CEO of Teach and Do, with an accent that somehow always manages to steal the spotlight. On this podcast, we will explore the impossible quest of fitting in. From not from here, not from there, to sure, I'll blend in. We'll tackle the joys of code switching, the myth of cultural fit, and why people can never, ever pronounce your name, but somehow they can nail Mikhail Gorbachev every time. If you're done explaining where you're from or why your background makes you too much and not enough for others, well, buckle up. You're in the right place. Let's get into it. Ever been told your communication skills needs to be improved? Or you lack the soft skills? And felt like it was not really your communication skills or soft skills. It was somebody trying to show your place, that you don't really belong here. This might hit close to home. So communication is not about grammar or the accent you have, or too often that's all people see when they want to hold you back. Today's all about you feeling what you feel, and your feeling cannot be invalidated. Well, this is my story and your story. Let's talk about this. I have worked with a lot of bosses. White bosses who are born here, South Asians who are born here, South Asian not born here, they immigrated too. And I work with the organizations where communication skills were rated, especially down in performance reviews. There was a very specific ratings, and one part was communication skills. And for the life of me, I had no idea what they were rating. And honestly, I always thought that I'm never going to exceed that. And I had assumption about, because English is not my first language, I'm not going to be rated exceed on that. And throughout my career, that rating, the lower rating that I had, impacted my next promotion, also my pay raise, and also the new projects coming in. Because the performance review was all about opinion, and I still believe there are so many biases and discrimination that really happens in a workplace when you start rating things like that, which is not measurable, especially if you are being rated for communication skills and English is not your first language. And then also there's a combination of communications with the soft skills. We as a diaspora and an immigrant are screwed in the workplace. I've been there. Until this one day, one director changed my whole perspective about what really means when it comes to communications and soft skills. And I was blown away by it. She was my new manager coming from outside. She was external hire. She's not seen my work before, and obviously I had to prove it to her. So after working with her for a couple of months, there was a performance review that happened. And she rated me the highest, like the 4 out of 5. I've never gotten 3 even in communication skills, rated by the previous management. They had seen my work. I was working there for years, but they never saw that I could exceed the communications. So now this manager or director comes in and rates me at 4. I was shocked. I actually thought it was a mistake. And I said, okay, 4? How come I'm at 4? I had a self-doubt. I didn't believe that score. And you know what she told me? She said, explain, what does communication skill mean to you? And I said, English is not my first language, and you can hear it. I have an accent, and how could I be at 4? And she told me this: I've worked with you. You're my go-to person whenever something happens, something messy happens. It's because of you, when you're working here, I don't have to worry about what's going at work. And you've handled the worst situations in most brilliant way. And you get things done. And you communicate the way you're supposed to communicate. I don't really care about your grammar or your accent, how you speak. You just get things done and people listen to you. You hold people accountable. You are transparent. And that's why you're at 4. And you've earned it. And that day made me question all about my self-limiting belief that was created by the previous leaders who could not rate me at exceed. And they were rating for the sake of rating it. It was a checklist, but they didn't really bother how I felt when they listed me down low on communications. See what the environment does to you. See what the leadership coaching does to you. So my take in communications and soft skills are, it's going to change depending on who you are, the personality, depending on the type of environment you are in, depending on the type of role that you're handling, depending on the leadership, depending on your life, what's going on in your life. And maybe there's underlying cause of communications is not up to the standard in their books. The next incident, this manager was a white manager, and he was a new hire, but internally transfer. And I took over the new team, and I realized there was no process document. And I just took initiative without him asking me, because I was doing myself a favor. I was trying to save the time in training. So I created the process document from the scratch. Took me months to do it. And I went in. I was so happy. I went and told him, listen, I have this, and we don't have to worry about training each managers to how to use this particular system that we've just updated. And that way we're going to save the cost and everyone's going to learn it. I don't have to be there. You know, the first thing he asked me, he said, wow, who helped you doing this? I'm sure you didn't do this. He was shocked because I made that document and it was a brilliant piece and he could not take it. So later on, he said to me was, okay, you need the approval from me. Send it to me. I'll just go over, proofread it, and I'll send it back to you, and you can send it back to the executive team. It was over the weekend. I still remember. He sent it out on Sunday morning to all the executive, copying me on it. He proofread my process documents. He didn't ask for permission. He just did it. I was like, okay, he's my manager. What can I do, right? And then he didn't give me credit. He said, this is what we have as a team, and going forward, we'll continue to make documents like this. No mention of how I created this. It was my baby, nothing like that. And that day, I realized people would use the communications to control you, to control who you are, and show you a place. If your work is so good, they will take a credit. But when the things breaks down, the same communications would be used as scapegoat. So be careful whenever someone gives you the feedback when it comes to communications and soft skills. What's in for them? What's the motive behind them? Do they really want you to succeed, or do they want to take a credit because you are not fitting in their mold? Now, let's talk about soft skills. I have heard so much about this. Immigrants lack soft skills, and soft skills are measured within the communication buckets, right? And till this day, I have no idea how do they measure the soft skills. Show me the measurement that I can check someone else's soft skills. I can't do that. For me to measure whether you are good at communications or not would be something which is grammar. And I feel like the easiest way to criticize immigrants and diaspora's community where the English is not their first language, they get scrutinized when people are talking about they lack soft skills. The soft skills in my book is not only about immigrant or somebody else's out there. It's a human skills. It's an emotions that is created based on the environment, based on who you are, or based on how you're brought up, based on country, based on the cultural aspect to it. So we cannot tell people this is the perfect soft skills and this is not the perfect one. So how the soft skills are judged through a Western lens. And often it gets dismissed when you are not expressing them the right way. And the right way, who defines the right way? So there is this irony of bring yourself to work, which is be yourself. But while people are being themselves at work, it costs them something, maybe next promotions, next project, and being asked to tone it down. So if you are expressing your emotions in most direct way, while you lack soft skills now, and maybe you're not ready to lead the team. But when you are really soft and you don't have a hard skills, managing conflict, let's say, then still you're not ready to lead the team. You're not leadership material. So this is defined by the people who think certain aspect you need in order to succeed in life. And most of the time it's communication skills. But I've seen so many people who do not have that communication skills are still managing the team, still making billions of dollars, still negotiating the contract. So when I hear immigrants need more soft skill, I mean, just let's pretend they don't already have emotional IQ. Because apparently surviving a cross-continental move or navigating new cultures and juggling multiple identities means you missed the soft skills memo. The cluelessness of telling diasporas and immigrant community they lack soft skills when they've already mastered adaptation, resilience, and cultural fluency just by living their lives. How soft skills are often a polite way to say, fit in more, stop standing out. And that's what it actually means. You're shown your place. Double standard where locals get a pass in communications and teamwork, even when they clearly don't have those skills, while immigrants are micromanaged on every word and gesture. And real stories of diasporas and immigrants getting praise for technical skills, but constantly telling them to work on their soft skills without honestly a clear directions. I don't really know what that means. It's another visible barrier dressed up as a friendly advice just to show you a place. I mean, the double standard exists, right? Let's talk about local people who can drop the ball. They can have a bad day. They can lose their emotions any way they want because they do have a privilege, which we don't really have. And if we do that, we show our emotions at workplace and we drop the ball. And God forbid we become tough and set the boundaries. No means no. And we just say no without any explanations. We lack the soft skills. It's a double standard. And it's standard defined by the privileged people. Those skills that we're talking about here are communication skills. If you cannot rate it, if you cannot identify and say exactly how the person can improve on to go where they need to be, to get that next promotions or next project, it's time we question those feedback. Sometimes the feedbacks especially those one which does the damages, which gives you the self-doubt, which actually tells you you don't belong here without telling you. Those feeling that you have inside, you feeling it, feel it, because that's a gut feeling you have, and go with it. Sometimes those feedbacks are not welcomed. Sometimes those feedback has to be tossed away. And I'm speaking from my personal experience. I remember one of my manager who wanted to go and proofread my email while I was still a manager leading a team. She wanted to read my email because she was known as a grammar police. And she did for a couple of months until she had no time to read it. Maybe I improved on, who knows, right? That made me feel so small. She was not the brightest one I looked up to. She didn't earn that role to proofread my email, but she did it because she had a power over me. She had a privilege over me. She was my manager. How could I say no? Fast forward later, I wrote the book. It became a best-selling book in Amazon for a bit. So here's the thing. Sometimes it's not about your imperfect grammar or accent or the emotions that you're throwing out or putting up boundaries, and you've been called out that you lack the communication skills or soft skills. Take it with a grain of salt. Self-reflect and see what you can do about it. But do not dwell on it. If you know that you're in the room with the people who are going to judge you, regardless of your technical skills, they know that you can get shit done, but they will still judge you and fight back with one of the weaknesses you've ever had. That was the communication skills. And because English was never a first language, you're trying to adapt to it. You're trying to learn more and more. That, my friend, is a strength, not a weaknesses. So next time someone says you need to work on your soft skills, just remember this. You've already passed the ultimate test, surviving and thriving across the cultures. Maybe it's them who need the soft skills upgrade. What do you think? Let's keep calling these unspoken biases and help diasporas and immigrant community to get the recognition they deserve beyond the tired communications and soft skills that everybody needs. Human needs them, not only us as a diaspora and immigrant. Let's hold them accountable. And that's the wrap for today's episode, Diaspora's Career Challenges, where blending in is overrated and fitting in to someone else's mold is so last season. If you love this sarcasm, don't forget to subscribe, share, and I'd really appreciate your review. I'm here to remind you that you're not here to fit in. You're here to stand out. Your accent is still a mystery to some. Who cares? So the next time someone asks, "Where's that accent from?" just smile and say, "Oh, don't worry. It's called unique. You'll get used to it." Where can you connect with me? I'm all over on social media. Connect with me on LinkedIn. And I do have a free resources for job search and career under teachingdo.com/free resources. Can't wait for you to come in and join me next week.